Hey, I'm Bob, and I just bought a really nice new camper. So first, you can take the roof off. There's a bunch of stuff inside. And then there's a big claw on the back. I'll just show you. Quick slam dunk. Okay, now let's get to the show.
Hi everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Corbs. Okay, do you remember what we're making today?
Something with a really long name.
We're making an M&M cheesecake with the pretzel crust. Cheesecake, chocolate mousse, and then M&Ms on top. It's kind of a, probably the hardest thing we've made, except for it doesn't take all day like the hot cross buns. All right, you ready to get started? Wash your hands.
Okay.
Okie dokie. The first thing we're gonna do is make the crust. The crust is made out of pretzels. So the crust is just pretzels and sugar and melted butter. The recipe calls for 200 grams of pretzels, which they said was 3 cups. When I measured it, it was 4 cups. So if you have a scale, weigh it. If not, maybe go for closer to 4 cups of pretzels. So dump those in there. I'm gonna melt the butter, 175 grams of butter, which is just short of 1 cup. While Corbs is putting the crust together, oh look! I am going to use a springform pan. I usually have a better springform pan, but I loaned it to someone. If it's you that I loaned it to, get after me, I'll get it back, please. But I have this kind of crummy one. I cut a piece of parchment paper just by tracing around, and I'm gonna put that in the bottom of this, I don't know, 8-inch maybe, springform pan. All right, so put the lid on that. Buzz those up till they look like crumbs. And then we're gonna add some sugar and some butter, and that's our crust. It's as easy as that.
Oh. Ah! It's coming at me!
Woo! Woo!
Whoa!
We have to pulse it maybe 30 times or something. There's still some big chunks, but I think that'll be good. And it's mostly small crumbs. Actually, you can leave the lid on. And then the next thing we need to add is this butter and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Yeah, so just dump it in there.
2 tablespoons first.
And 175 grams of butter. Can you dump that in?
It's warmed up, right?
Yeah, it's melted butter, yeah.
Now whip it.
Now just pulse it together maybe like 5 times until it looks like it's all sort of moist and it's kind of moistly. Pulse it. Pulse.
But actually, that looks weird.
So you dump that in here and then we'll press it all down.
Can I cut it? Well, that might be hard.
No, I think you can do it. No. You're gonna press that down.
It is kind of crummy, but it's not like crummy as in not good.
Press it down just with your fingers. Oh, we forgot to tell you, the oven was preheated to 350. You want to press it so it's really firm.
Is that nice and firm?
Yep.
Should I stand on it?
No. We got it all pressed in tight, and we're gonna stick it in the oven.
I'm sticking it in for 10 minutes and 1 millisecond. He has a hamster. A bed. And then there's a cookie beside his bed. Zesting the lemon rind.
We need some lemon rind and lemon juice in the cheesecake part, so we're gonna zest the lemon, and then we're gonna juice it. Corbs is gonna zest it with this little zester we have. Oh, our crust is done. You wanna check the crust while I finish zesting that? So it's been 10 minutes.
Oh,
How does it look? It should be kind of golden brown.
it is definitely, it's more brown though.
Okay, we'll go for it. Take it out. After we take it out, we're going to lower the temperature of the oven to 320. We're gonna let it cool while we make the cheesecake.
And if you really want to, you can make it in a pan that's about that big and invite us over.
All right, so cut this
We're
in half.
outdoors.
Cut this in half and juice it. Yeah, we'll come to your outdoor party. Juice that baby. Okay, we're gonna put this zest and juice aside, and we're gonna get to some cream and some cream cheese. We're creaming 400 grams of cream cheese, which is about a block, just over a block and a half. About a block and a half and a quarter. Yeah, it's about a block and a half if you don't have a scale. Cream that up so until it's nice and fluffy, and then we're gonna add some sugar and some flavoring and some eggs, and that's it. All right, it's kind of creamed up. Now add a half a cup of sugar. And then it's a slippery sucker. And now he's gonna beat that
like a waterfall. Sugar
for.
What happens now?
Wake up! Wake up! Scrape it down. We'll give it one more until it's nice and smooth. Sugar and cream cheese. What's not to love?
2 hours later.
We're gonna add the lemon zest, which is zest from 1 lemon. It said 1 teaspoon, but we're going with whatever that is, 1 lemon. Now we need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1 teaspoon of vanilla.
Of lemon juice,
You know what we're gonna do with this leftover lemon?
My water.
We're gonna put it in our water balls. Almost broke the darn thing.
1 tablespoon.
Teaspoon.
Spills a little bit out.
While Corb's mixing that up, the next step is 2 lemon yolks. Lemon? 2 egg yolks, not lemon yolks. Okay, so maybe Corb, we have to do this 5 times in this recipe. I'm gonna do the first 2, and then maybe Corbs will try at the end. You have to use a knife, so you have to do a really sharp cut, split it in half, and then you let the egg white go out, and you dump it back and forth until all you have left is an egg yolk, and the white all falls out. I don't know if Corbs is up for that. We'll see.
I'll try.
You'll try one? Okay, so again.
Whip up for what you got in there. Ooh, around and around. Whoa.
So scrape that once again, and we're gonna add these yolks. Then you need to whip up the egg whites until fluffy in a separate bowl. Maybe you have one of these kind of mixers and also one of those hand mixers still. We don't have one of those hand mixers anymore, but we do have 2 of these bowls. I imagine most people don't have that. So what you could do in this case, after you mix the egg whites in, is you could move them into a separate bowl and then mix the yolks in the same bowl. So dump in the egg yolks.
In here?
Yep.
Right here. Gonna do it on slow until they're just combined.
We'll look at it until we see when they're just combined. That looks pretty good. We're gonna put that aside, and now we're gonna whip the whites. So you can dump these egg whites in there. There's just whites, that's the 2 egg whites. So put this on and then whip those until stiff peaks form. We'll show you what those are when we've got them. Okay, I think we got stiff peaks. So that took, a minute. You want the egg whites to hold their peak if you hold them up. So we can show you by the bowl, or I can kind of show you by this too. See how it holds the peak?
Double in size, triple in size.
This part you want to be kind of delicate with. So you kind of just want to fold it gently like this, where you flip it,
I probably
fold it, flip it and fold it, flip it and fold it. So you do that a couple times, maybe only like 5 or 10 times. Okay, so I'm just going to do the last bit of folding, and Corbs is going to grab the crust, and we're going to dump this on the crust. It might be hot, but it might not be. We're going to scrape this into the pan.
This is a very good job.
Okay, here's where you come into play.
Me? Mrs. Bossy Pants over here.
Oh, it has to be a certain way, or it won't work.
Says Mrs. Bossy Pants.
So just spread it flat like this. We're going to put it on this baking pan just in case it leaks. These springform pans are kind of crappy. And now we're going to put it in the oven at 320 for 25 to 30 minutes.
30.
Or until the center is almost set.
I'll play with my fidget spinner, spin.
Okay, so we baked it for about 28 minutes.
Coffee waste.
Yeah. If we kind of jiggle it around, it's set in the middle, and it looks great.
So it's like a marshmallow.
We're gonna let it cool on a rack for about an hour, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge for a bit before we do the next layer, which is a mousse layer. Hi, welcome back.
This is the 3rd try, and she was panicking about her hair.
We are going to make the chocolate mousse part for our cheesecake. So I'm gonna do some microwaving. We have got 175 grams of chocolate.
A little bit less.
Oh, that little bugger. Which we're going to melt together, get out of here, with 5 tablespoons of butter cubed. So, hey, stop. Cube this butter Mix this, and I'm gonna melt this in the microwave on 30 seconds at a time until it's melted and smooth. Corbs, you know what you could do at this point is whip some cream. So we have half a cup of whipped cream. Pour it in there and whip it up until soft peaks form. See if you can do that.
In you go, yo. I mean, come on. Pickle. I mean, come on. Cake.
Okie doke. Corb whipped the cream until soft peaks form, which means it's pretty whipped but not super stiff. And I ended up needing to melt this butter and chocolate for about 1.5 minutes in the microwave. You could just use chocolate chips. I used like some Calabo chocolate bar thing that I had.
Can I put them?
But you could use whatever kind of semi-sweet chocolate. Okay, now we have to do something kind of tricky. We need to separate the eggs again. So this is the trickiest part. We need to separate 3 eggs. We just need the egg yolks, and we're gonna mix it together with icing sugar. And we have to kind of heat it over a double boiler, which is kind of tricky, but you know what? It's gonna be worth it. Okay, so 3 eggs. It goes off, and 1, 2. Your turn. I'm gonna separate them just in case it doesn't go that well for him. Never do that. Yes. Okay. Oh, let's see if we can rescue it. Scoop it back up. 3 egg yolks. 3 egg whites. We're not using them, but we will figure out something to do with them. Now we're gonna add 1/4 cup of icing sugar. So we're doing it in this double boiler thing. Put that in there.
There?
Yep. So we're gonna mix this icing sugar together with egg yolks. You wanna dump those in there? Now we have to cook these over this bowl of boiling water. Whisk them for about 10 minutes. This is the annoying part. So we're gonna put it over some medium or low heat and whisk constantly, otherwise it will turn into scrambled eggs. So we're gonna whisk constantly for about 10 minutes. We'll see it back here in a sec. All right, we whisked this together, the egg yolk and the sugar, until it kind of looks like custard. It actually took me about 6 minutes. And now we are going to whisk in this hot chocolate mixture. So I'm going to pour this in here, and Corbs is just going to whisk the two together. So, whisk that up. We put some ice cubes and some water in another bowl, and we are just going to let that sit in there for 2 minutes to cool down. It's a bit hot. The next step is to fold this chocolate into the whipped cream. So we let that cool for a couple minutes. I'll scoop this in, and you fold that.
I wish I had some corny fold jokes.
Do you guys have any corny fold jokes for us?
If you do, comment in the section down below.
So we have it all folded together so it looks uniform.
Squeaky, 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 squeaky.
All right, so I'm going to smooth this out.
Make it nice.
Make it nice and flat. No. That is delicious. Okay, so now we're just going to top it with these M&Ms. We coated it in M&Ms. We're going to let it sit in the fridge for a little bit, and then we're going to eat it.
The M&Ms are not social distancing.
What do you think? Do you think that was fun to make? Yeah. It's
Hard
that
enough.
last layer. That last layer is a little bit finicky. I was thinking you could make this gluten-free really easily if you just had gluten-free pretzels. Then you would just have a gluten-free cake.
I got my fucking lotion.
All right, it's been hanging out in the fridge for a bit. We're ready to cut it. I'm just gonna go around the edge with this little thingy majingy. Although I don't know if you really need to. Ready, folks? Da, da, da,
Okay, that's a layer cake.
You ready for a piece?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. Okay.
There it is.
-1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6.
Not bad. It's really super good.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take a little break after this show. We might come back once a month or so, but not every week. But we will see you again for sure. Thank you so much for watching
Cooking with
Corbs. So delicious.